Okay. All right, boys. Good afternoon. How are you? Hope you are ready for today's assessment. Hope you are ready for today's exam. Today is the due day, so you got to write your assessments today. So the assessment is online, so let's get it, and then let's lay our entry on it and try provide answers to it. For today's lesson, just going to do a quick revision again on what to expect in the assessment, and then possibly those can help us in providing answers to the assessment. Okay, so we're going to do a quick recap on function, strictly function. So today's lesson will be on function, and then we're going to look at some of these exercises. So our class will not be long today, so that we can have time to do our work. Okay, so looking at this exercise one, is saying giving f of x as minus x plus 2 and g of x as 3 negative 3 over x, which is not drawn to scale. So this is not drawn to scale. All right. P and Q are points of intersection of the graph. P and Q are points of intersection of the graph. Okay. You can see that then. Now the question is determine the coordinates of P and Q. What will be the coordinates of P and Q? How do you find the coordinates of P and Q? What is the coordinates of P and what is the coordinates of Q? How are you going to do that? So to find the coordinates of P and Q, what do we do? Because the two graphs are intersecting at P and Q. So all we need to do is to equate the two equations. We put these two equations together. We say negative x plus 2 is equals to minus 3 over x. Because the points are intersecting. P and Q are the point of intersection between the two graphs. They are intersecting at those points. So the two graphs are intersecting. So what we're going to do, we equate the two equations. Okay, we equate the two equations. So we're going to say minus x plus 2 is equal to 3 minus 3 over x. And then we try to solve for x. We try to create a trinomial. We cross multiply. So we cross multiply, we have what? Minus x squared plus 2x equals to minus 3. Minus x squared plus 2x equals to minus 3 when you cross multiply. And then if you try to make the coefficient of x squared as positive and rearrange the equation to in the standard form, we have what? Positive x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Okay, we have what? Positive x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Okay, so positive x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0, and they can factorize that. You can factorize that, and then you get your 2x values. Factorize that trinomial, x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0, and then solve that, and then you get 2x values. And when you do that, you're going to get minus 2x plus 1. Okay, and then these will be your 2x values. These will be the x value at P and the x value at Q. So those are you're going to get 2x values, which will be the x value at P and the one at Q. And then how then we're going to find the y coordinates? So you can substitute your x at P into any of this equation to find your y coordinates here. And then the x coordinate at Q, the second x, you substitute it into any of this to find your y coordinates. And like that, you can find the x coordinate and y coordinate at Q, x coordinate and y coordinate at P. I'm sure you understand that. Okay, again, we have to find the points of intersection P and Q. To find out what we say whenever lines are intersecting, whenever lines are overlapping, what do? We equate the two equations and then try to solve for x. When you solve for x, you get 2x values. One will be positive, the other will be negative. The positive one will go to the point on the positive side, and the negative x value will go to the point on the negative side. So, and then to find y values, you substitute this x's into any of the equation to find your y values. Okay, so like that, you find the point P and Q. Now the coordinate of B. How do you find the coordinate of B? How do you find the coordinate of B? To get the coordinate of B, there's B there. Find the coordinate of B. So B is on what? What is the position of the B? The position of the B is such that it's on the x-intercept. It's on the x-intercept. So just find the x-intercept of the linear equation, the linear graph, find the x-intercept. Remember, at x-intercept, you put y at 0. So you now put y at 0 here. This is the equation for the linear graph. You put y at 0 and find your x-intercept. So you put 0 here, and then move the negative x to the other side, become positive x. So positive x equals to 2. That means our b equals to 2. So the coordinates of b will now be 2, 0. You understand? 2 and 0. Do you understand? Again, find the coordinate of b. To find the coordinates implies the x and y values. The x and y values at that point. So by b, the y value is 0. By b, the y value is 0 because it's on the x-intercept, it's on the x-axis. Then x-axis, so y value here is 0. So to now know your x value, you now just substitute your y value as 0 and find your x value. Your f of x is your y. So you put your 0 here, and then you make y, you move the x over to become positive x, so x equals to positive 2. So basically your point is 2 and 0, okay? The other one, calculate the length of GF if E equals to -6, 0. Calculate the length of GF. Calculate the length of GF. So calculate the length of GF if GE is -6. -6 if point E is -6, calculate the point of, actually it's GE, not GF. GE, calculate the length of GE. Okay, calculate the length of GE. If point E equals to 6 and 0. Okay, so what is the length of this GE? So now that means the x value here is -6. All you need to do is to find the y value here. You already know the y here is 0. Again, our question is to find the length of GE. To find the length of GE, this length here. Okay, and then they give you the coordinates of E as -6 and 0. So y here is 0. So what is the y here? The y here is 0. What is the y here? So to find the y here, because this line is perpendicular to this line, that means the value of x here will also be the same value of x at this point. Okay, so the value of x here, which is -6, that means you need to find the value of y. To find the value of y, you will put what? X as -6 into the equation of the linear graph. So you put -6 by x. So if x is -6, then you have -6 that'd be +6. 46 plus 2, that'll give you +8. That means when by here our x is -6 and our y will be +8. Do you understand? Our x is -2, our x is -6, and our y be +8. We got our x is -6 because this line, this dotted line is perpendicular, meaning it's straight, it's not skewed, it's not bending. So the x here will be the same x at this point. So the x at this point is -6. So if x at this point is -6, what is the y at this point? You get the y at this point to substitute it into the equation, and then we have what this is -x. So this saying x is -6, so it will be -6. So -6 be +6, +6 plus 2 +8. That means here is 8, here is 0. So the length of GE will now be 8 minus 0, because y here is 8, y here is 0. So 8 minus 0 will be 8. So that length of GE. Okay. Okay, fine. That's about that. Let's see this other one. So let's see this. Given the following diagram, we have this another question. Given the following diagram. Okay. Right. Determine the equation of the graph of f and g as shown. What is the equation of f and g? What is the equation of f and g? How do you find the equation of f and g? This is your f, and the straight line is your g. So what is the equation of the f? The f is your parabola. Okay. So now, and then what are the things you have? You have your two x-intercepts. You are giving your two x-intercepts. So x has -2 and x has 2. So with two x-intercepts, you can find the equation of the parabola. You understand? And how do you do that? You're going to say a into x minus 1 minus x minus 2. A into x, a y equals to a into x minus 1 minus x minus 1, close bracket, then x minus 2. Again, y equal a. Y is the equation of parabola is y equals to a bracket x minus x1, close bracket, then x minus x2. So then you substitute your x here, here's your x1, here's your x2. Your two x-intercepts are your x1 and x2. You substitute that into the equation and then use any of the coordinates along the parabola to find the value of your a. And then you can find the value of this parabola. You understand? You understand? And then if you do that, you're going to come to a point y equals to minus 2x squared plus 8. Minus 2x plus 8. Okay. Because when you do x minus, there is x, the x is minus 2, the x is plus 2. That means it's symmetrical. The graph is symmetrical about this line, about the y-intercept. So when you do your x1, x minus x1, so you have what? You're going to have x minus 2. Okay? We'll have x minus 2, and here you're going to have x plus 2. Here I'll give you x plus 2, here I'll give you x minus 2. So x plus 2, x minus 2, when you do that, you're going to, and then you multiply that. If you do x minus 1, x plus x minus 2 and x plus 2, you're going to have x squared minus 4. You're going to have x squared minus 4, and then by the time you find the value of a, you're going to have this equation minus 2x squared plus 8. Okay. Otherwise, okay, going about this explanation, y equals to a squared plus q. Okay. Now, this is the equation for parabola that is symmetrical about the y-axis. That is symmetrical about the y-axis. So all you need to find your value of your a and find the value of your q. The value of your a and the value of your q. Your q is your y-intercept. Your q is your y-intercept. And then your a, you can use any coordinate or any other coordinate to find the value of your a. So if you check there now, by the graph, our y-intercept there is what? 8. Our y-intercept is 8. So you put in your 8. You put in your 8 as your y-intercept. So we have y equals to ax squared plus 8. And then use any coordinates along the graph to find your a. So you can use any of these. You can use this. This is a point along the graph minus 2, 0, or you can use minus 2, 0, or 0, minus 0, and 2. You can use any of them to find the value of your a. Okay. And then using 0 minus 2, so when y was 0, x is 2. So we're going to do x is minus 2. So minus 2 squared is 4, and then 4a, then a equals to negative 2. When we put it here, we have negative 2x squared plus 8. Okay. That's that. Okay. Now, the next one, okay, we need to find the equation of G. So how do you find the equation of G? G is a straight line. G is a straight line, and to find the equation is always in form of y equals to mx plus c. Y equals to mx plus c. So you need to find your m and you need to find your c. Your c, remember your m is the gradient and your c is your y-intercept. So your c will be negative 4. Without any workout, your c is negative 4. Again, to find the equation of this G is the straight line, and all straight lines have an equation called the equation of the straight line. The equation of the straight line is y equals to mx plus c. Y equals to mx plus c. M is the gradient, c is the y-intercept. So with these two coordinates, minus 2 and 0, and this other coordinate, find the gradient. Using these two coordinates, b and d, find the gradients. You can say y2 minus y1 over x minus x1. Y2 is 0 minus 4, that gives you positive 4. Then minus 2 minus 0 will give you minus 2. So positive 4 over minus 2 will give you minus 2. That means the gradient of this line is minus 2. Okay, so gradient of this line is minus 2. How do you find it again? Y2 is 0 minus what? Minus 4. 0 minus minus 4 is going to be plus 4. Minus 2 minus 0 give you minus 2. So plus 4 over minus 2 is minus 2. So the gradient is minus 2. And then your C-intercept is negative 4. So basically, the equation for this one will be minus 2x minus 4. That'll be equation for your G. Minus 2x minus 4. Okay. Right. Minus 2x minus 4 is the equation of your G. All right. Now the next one, FG is parallel to Y. FG is parallel to Y. Determine the length of the vertical line FG. FG is parallel to Y. FG is parallel to Y. This is FG, this is Y. So FG is parallel to Y. Then what must you do? Determine the length of the vertical line FG. What is the vertical line FG? Calculate this vertical line FG if it is parallel to the Y. So to find the vertical line FG, the same thing as we did in the last question. You find the Y value here by F, you find the Y value here by G, and then subtract them. The top minus the bottom will give you the length FG. Again, you need to find the Y value by F, you need to find the Y value by G, and then you subtract them. So what is the Y value by F? You need to know the Y value at point F. How do you do that? You can use the equation at point F, our X is what? 1, because the straight line is not skewed, it's not bending. That means this X here, the line passes through X here, which is 1. That means here, the X at this point F is going to be 1. And then the F at this point G will also be 1. So if X here is 1, what is the Y? But if F here is 1, what is Y? To find Y, you now substitute the 1 into the equation of what? Of the parabola and find your Y. So the same thing, you substitute 1 into the equation of the straight line to find your Y by the G, and then you subtract them to give you your length of FG. Okay. So, and that will be 1 and 6, and then the difference will be the value there will be, what question was that? Question 6.2. So F will be 1 and 6. So the coordinate of F will be 1 and 6. So by F, if you substitute the value of 1 into the equation of the parabola, then you get 6. Okay. Okay. And then if you substitute 1 into the equation of the linear graph, which we said is minus 2x plus 4, minus 2x minus 4, minus 2x minus 4, if you substitute your 1 into it, you can get what? Minus 6. Okay, because if you put 1 by x, so 2 times minus 2 times that is minus 2, minus 2 minus 5 is minus 6. So when x is 1, y will be minus 6. So now, so what you're saying basically is that the value of y is 6, while the value of g is minus 6. So to find the length of what? G of x will be 6 minus minus 6. So 6 minus 6 will be 6 plus 6, and that will be 12. So the length of FG is 12. Okay, the length of FG is 12. And then last one, write down the range of F. What would be the range of F? We say the range means what? The range implies the Y values. The range implies the Y values. All the possible Y values. What are the possible Y values here? So the Y values are from 8 downwards. From 8 to negative infinity. So these are our range values. From 8, because the graph stretches downwards. The graph stretches downwards. It stretches downwards, it keeps going down. Here it's also going down. So we can always have what? All the Y values down below what? 8. So all the Y values below 8 are the range values. So basically our range is from negative infinity to 8 will be our range. Okay. And then the last one, so our range is from negative infinity to 8. Okay. Or y is an element, y is greater than or equals to, is less than or equals to 8. You can as well write like that. And then the last one, determine the value of values of x for which f of x is greater than 0. Determine the value of values of x for which f of x is greater than 0. F is greater than 0 means what? Where the graph is above, greater than 0 means what? Positive. Determine the values of x for which f of x is greater than 0. Greater than 0 means positive. Meaning find the values of x where f of x or where y, remember f of x means y. Determine the values of x for which y is positive, greater than 0. So what are the values of x where y is positive, where y is greater than 0? So, and that means the values that are above the line, where the graph is on top of the line, the positive y, the positive side of the y. Now, what are the values of x for which y is positive? Is from what? From -2 to positive 2. So these are the values of x for which our y is positive. Down here, y is negative. Down here, f of x is negative. F of x here is negative. But on top, so f of x greater than 0, which means f of x is positive, are those parts where it's above the x-axis. And what are the values of x at those points? The values of x are from -2 to +2. Again, the question says, determine the value or values of x for which f of x is greater than 0. The values of x are from -2 to +2. Okay. Now the next one, is saying the next one and the last one. In the figure below, the sketch graph, the sketch of the graph f and g are given. So you have C with 4 and coordinates 4 and 3 and 3/2 is a point on the graph, and f and a are points where f and g intersect. So f and g are intersecting at A. The angles between the line G and then x axis is 45. So the angle is 45, okay? And you have a point here on a point C there. Now, write down the gradient of C. Write down the gradient of G. So what will be the gradient of G now? What is the gradient of G? So because we are given these, we have to find the gradient of G. Don't forget. So we said in our analytical mathematics, when we do analytical geometry, that to find gradient, when we are given an angle with the x-axis, that's the gradient m because of tan of the angle. The tan of the angle, the tangent of the angle. So basically, our gradient is what? Tan 45. So the gradient of this line G would be what? Is equal to tan 45. M equals to tan theta. The formula m gradient equals to tan theta. So the gradient of G is what? Tan of 45. So tan of 45 is 1. That means the gradient L is what? 1. The tan of 45 is 1. Again, the formula is m equals to tan theta, where the theta is the angle between the line and the positive x-axis. The theta is the angle between the line and the positive x-axis. So to know the gradient of this line is to know what the tan of the angle it makes with the line. We are going to say to find the gradient of the line, we tan of 45. So tan 45 is 1, then the gradient is 1. Okay. Then what is the equation of G? What's the equation of G? Because we know the gradient, then can find the equation. Remember, equation of a straight line is y equals to mx plus c. Y equals to mx plus c is the equation of a straight line. So m, we said m is equals to 1. We already calculated the gradient at 1. So now, to now find the c, now what is the value of c? There is no c intercept. It passes through origin. So our c be what? 0. So there is no intercept on the y-axis, but 0. So basically our equation of G is equals to y equals to x. Y equals to x. Okay, the c is 0. Okay, so this equation for this line is what? Line y equals to x. Because the m is 1. Remember, it was what? Y equals to mx plus c. Mx plus c. M is 1. Because we said tan 45 is 1, so m is 1. So 1 times x is x. And then our c is 0 because there is no intercept. The graph does not intercept on the y-axis. So basically, y equals to m. I mean, y equals to x is the equation for this graph G. Okay. And then determine the equation of f. How do you find the equation of f? To find the equation of f, what is the equation of f? We'll say, what is our equation? Our equation is y equals to a. This is an hyperbola. Is an hyperbola. What is the equation of a hyperbola? Y equals to a over q. A over p plus q. Y equals to a over p plus q. So now, where your p and q are your asymptote values, but I've taught the asymptote values. Okay, when we thought the asymptote value. So all you need to do is to find the value of your A. So again, the equation of hyperbola, the equation of hyperbola equals to y equals to A over P. The A over y equals to A over X. Rather, y equals to A over X. Y equal A over X. So you need to find your A. So with this point, you use this point to find the value of your A, and they put it in the equation, and then you have the equation for your parabola. Okay. So y is equals to A over P. So y equals to A over X. So at the point where X is what? When X was what? 4, y is what? 3 over 2. So we substitute 4 and 3 over 2 into y equals to A over X, then we will get what? Y equals to 6 over X. Okay. Right. So for the last one, for the last question for today, right, determine the coordinate of A if A is the closest point to the origin. So what will be the coordinate of A? So what will be the coordinate of A if the closest point to the origin? So what do you do? So the coordinate of A will be 1 and 0. The coordinate of A will be 1 and 1, rather 1 and 1, if A is the closest point to the origin. Okay. So this is how far we can go for today's lesson. So let's go online to practice, to do the questions that we have given you for the assessment. Try your best there, and then tomorrow we can have the solution to the assessment. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your day.